Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. You're kind of seeing like the background of my videos. Normally I go for about there, and that looks a lot better. But hello, welcome to another like come along with me to the theatre video. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this one, basically for the fact that I am off to see Rocky Horror Show, I think is its full name. I've never seen it before. I'm going alone. I'm a little bit apprehensive. But yes, it's been on my I should see it list for a while, and it is currently finishing its UK tour in Wolverhampton before it goes to Paris for I think about a month. So if you don't catch it in Wolverhampton, and by the time this video goes live it will have finished in Wolverhampton, you will have to travel all the way to France to go and watch it. But I decided in the end to do this video because one, I've got to go through a different part of town, so different footage and coming at it from a different angle, and two, I quite enjoy doing these videos just because the whole like talking about sensory and trigger warning stuff, because it's videos that I feel are very helpful for me personally, also other people. So there we go. Going in, I've got like 3 hours I think until I go and see the show. I'm watching it at 5:30 on a Friday evening, so I feel like the crowd should be okay, but like I said, I've never been. I'm aware that there is going to be some audience participation, most of which I probably won't be able to join in with because I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm interested to go and see what this is all about, and let's go and do it. And we're back. I could have filmed this last night, didn't. I literally got home, got my pyjamas and was done for the evening. But let's discuss what we normally discuss in these videos: trigger warnings, sensory warnings, overall how I was sat in the theatre, etc. So let's do the theatre side first. So I was at the Wolves Grand, my beloved. I was in the dress circle. I also made myself a little comfort bubble in the Grand, which is, it was done on purpose by myself. So I sat towards the back of the dress circle on the one side. I had what was called a balustrade next to me, which was basically on I think both sides of the dress circle at the Grand. The two side pieces rise up, and by the time you get to rows D and E, I think, or E and F, you are on a set of stairs, and at the end of the row is a railing which links the aisle between the two sides. Hopefully that makes sense. So I put myself on the end of the row next to the balustrade, so I had somewhere to lean. Delightful. I also put myself, bearing in mind I booked the day before going, where there was no one at the current time sat behind me, there was no one at the current time sat in front of me. There was someone in the row in front, but they were like 2 or 3 seats down, and there was no one in the rest of the row next to me. So I knew that I was not around anyone, so to speak. Not knowing what my feelings, my situation, how I was going to feel with this show, being that I knew it was a little bit audience participation-y, just made my nerves a little bit lower. So I'm glad I did that for the first time. If I ever did return to the show, maybe I'd get more involved, but I probably would definitely stay in the dress circle, just because personal preference, and also because most of the audience participation / call and response came from the front of the stalls. If I was to return, I definitely think I'd stick in the dress circle, just because that's where I felt happiest. I feel like you have to be going quite a few times before you can join in with the audience call response, shouting it out ness, and yeah, I like to hear it, don't want to be really close to it. That's just me and my personal preference. But legroom was pretty decent. I had a rail to lean on. It was a lovely time in the seat. Trigger warnings, I mean, if you look at the Grand's website, there isn't essentially a trigger warning per se. There is an audience guidance of 14+, which I kind of agree with. The jokes used in the show and the things that happen in the show are of a slightly adult nature. I found most of the jokes pretty funny. I did miss some of them, but that was just an audio problem with myself at the current time because I'm so full of cold. But the language used and the jokes and humour used is colourful, and as previously mentioned, there is obviously the audience participation element. So if you are someone who is quite introverted and likes to hear it but doesn't like to be right next to it, then I'd probably suggest the dress circle or higher. In regards to sensory things that we need to discuss, I have a few for each act. For both acts, I have to say that the music was quite loud. It definitely felt quite concerty in volume of sound, to the point that there were times that my seat did kind of vibrate a little bit just from the bass. I didn't mind it, but it was quite loud. Also, quite a lot of the lighting used is flashy and does also come over the audience a few times, sometimes into your eyes, but that kind of depends on where you're sat. Other than that, we have in Act 1 a lightning sound effect at the end of the first song, just as they're getting back into the car. It is a sound effect with a small flash of light, but nothing major, and it wasn't too loud, so it wasn't necessarily scary. Also in Act 1, towards the end of the act, there is a chainsaw visible which has a sound effect attached to it. Again, this sound effect isn't majorly loud and it kind of just incorporates with the rest of the music and action on stage, but it is brought onto stage, ran around the stage around the other actors, and then it is ran off the stage to the wings and that is it. You see nothing other than that. No blood is on the stage for that. In Act 2 there is a bag of body. Basically it is insinuated that the bag is full of a person that was chopped up by said chainsaw in Act 1. It didn't, from where I was sat, look particularly body-like, but it is something to be aware of if you're a bit squeamish maybe. Other than that, Act 2 also has a whip crack sound with a whip visible. The sound is from a sound effect, not from the whip itself. Again, not majorly loud, but something to be aware of. There is a laser gun sound towards the end of Act 2. The laser gun is visible when it happens. Again, not a particularly loud sound, but the first time that it was shot I did have my fingers in my ear just to make sure. And then finally, in the way of loud noises, at the end of Act 2 it is insinuated that the castle is being sent up into space, into where the where Riff Raff Magenta are from. Basically it culminates in a loud noise with progressively brighter and brighter lights, and as it almost lifts off, if you will, the auditorium is filled with dry ice / smoke, which kind of just incorporates the entire auditorium for about 10 seconds, if that. At the end of the takeoff there is a flashing, a bright-ish light. It goes a lot duller, and then you are just greeted by the smoke for a small period of time before Brad and Janet reappear on the stage. And that is pretty much that. There wasn't any major scary moments, and that's coming from someone who is very easily scared. For the most part I was laughing. I enjoyed the audience participation moments. I enjoyed the comedy, apart from the few times that I kind of missed the joke and people were still laughing, and then the next joke was kind of related to the last joke and I was like, I didn't hear what the first bit was. But yeah, there we go. There is my vlog of Rocky Horror and its show. Stick around, as the next video that goes up will more than likely be my review of the show. And yeah, I'm going to leave you here and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!